Good morning. So we hear every day that we are so blessed to live in America, that we have the best health care than any other country in the world, the best researchers, the most experimental drugs. Our people are surviving diseases. Our people are living longer. Well, let me ask any of you who have recently been diagnosed with a horrible illness if you feel blessed to live in America, to be under the American healthcare system. Are you getting experimental drugs? Are you getting the best care that you could possibly get? Are you going to survive your stage 3 or stage 4 cancer? If your name's Angelina Jolie or Shannon Doherty or Julia Louis-Dreyfus, you probably will, because these people are rich. Angelina Jolie never had cancer, and she's never going to get breast cancer or ovarian cancer. You know why? Because she had all those organs removed before she ever got cancer, because she could afford the BRCA test, which said, you're going to get cancer someday. So she just paid surgeons to remove all the organs that she was at risk for getting cancer of. Because God forbid Angelina Jolie gets cancer. She's too special to have cancer. Shannon Doherty survived breast cancer. Julia Louis-Dreyfus survived breast cancer. But these are all famous people. They can afford to do things that you and I cannot afford to do. They say that we have the best medical care in the world. And so I'm just going to put it out here. We have the best medical care in the world that our own citizens can't afford to take advantage of. And I know this for a fact. I know for a fact that no child should die of cancer. I agree with that. A lot of you accuse me of not being child friendly. Child free doesn't mean I hate kids. I don't think any child should die of cancer. And luckily in America, a lot of children don't have to, because we have St. Jude's and we have Shriners Hospitals for Children. We have all this stuff so that children, when they get cancer, their parents don't have to worry about paying for treatment. And a lot of kids survive cancer. That's a good thing. I want to know where these facilities are for adults. The people who actually have children, have to pay to raise children, and then they get diagnosed with cancer. Where is their St. Jude's? Where is their Shriners Hospitals for Children? Where are the doctors that will volunteer to treat a child with no health insurance with cancer? They will treat them for free. Why won't they do that for an adult with cancer whose insurance won't pay? And I'm not talking about people who refuse to pay for insurance, because that's a stupid thing in this country. And I'm going to do a show about national health care and what it actually is and why we will never be able to have it in America, and whose fault that is. Because it's not the government's fault that we can't have universal health care in this country, and it's not people like myself and my husband and people who actually have insurance. It's not our fault either. So anyway, that's another show. Let me first talk about different treatments and how we have the best researchers in this country and the best care. Let me talk about two major places you can go if you are an adult and you have been given the worst news of your life. You have cancer. And it's serious. It's the big cancer. It's not the little one where you just take a pill for 5 years and you're fine, or lumpectomy. No, it's the big one. Stage 3, stage 4 cancer. Well, you can go to Cancer Treatment Centers of America if you have $250,000 of your own money in the bank. And if I'm wrong, you can call me on it. But I have been told this by someone who tried to go there to get treated for cancer. And they were told that on top of their health insurance, which they had, which won't pay for certain treatments they have at cancer treatment centers, going to get into that, that you have to walk in there with 250 grand in the bank or you don't walk in. They won't treat you. And yet we see all these commercials about all these miracle cures. Oh, they treated me like family. They treated my body, my mind, and my soul. There's the problem. Because here's what health insurance doesn't pay for. They don't pay for your soul or your mind. Health insurance pays a certain percent of standard, what they consider standard, chemotherapy and radiation, and in some cases, not all, surgery. Not everyone who's diagnosed with breast cancer gets their mastectomy paid for by health insurance. You know why? Because it's not bad enough yet. I know people who had stage 2 breast cancer or stage 1, and insurance wouldn't cover a mastectomy for them because it wasn't necessary. And then 5 years later, their cancer came back because they didn't have the boobs cut off. You know, you have cancer in an organ in your body that you can live without. I say get rid of it. But some insurance companies will not cover a mastectomy unless you are really, really, really in serious trouble. Most insurance companies don't cover holistic medicine. Supplements, which by the way saved my husband. When my husband was diagnosed with diabetes 2 years ago, they first started him on the prescription drugs, which made him feel like a cancer patient even though he didn't have cancer. And he said, I can't do this anymore. Insurance covered the prescription, but he decided to go the supplement way. And those supplements saved my husband's life. My husband is no longer diabetic by his blood results. Not because of metformin, the prescription drug, but because of the supplements he's taking that he has to pay for out of pocket because insurance doesn't cover supplements. They don't cover anything that is considered experimental. Okay? And Cancer Treatment Centers of America, they do experimental trials, as does Fox Chase, which I'm getting to next. That's the really good one. Yeah, not a fan of the Fox Chase. But anyway. So, first of all, only rich people with money in the bank can afford to go to Cancer Treatment Centers of America. So if you're sitting at home right now and you have cancer and you're like, "Oh, maybe we can go there." Check your bank account. You probably won't be accepted. Okay? Fox Chase is a whole different animal. Because I know 2 people who went to Fox Chase. One is dead, and the other one has had a recurrence of her cancer 1 year after going to Fox Chase. Fox Chase tells you that you're going to be in a trial because you've got the bad cancer. My godmother had stage 4 lung cancer. And they said, you know what, Arlene? We're going to give you more years of life. You're going to make it. And so she drove 2 hours every week to Fox Chase. And she did those treatments they gave her. And lo and behold, guess what happened? She had horrible mouth sores. She felt horrible all the time. She was so sick. She was never sick until she started treatment. She had stage 4 lung cancer, they said, but she felt fine. She had a little sinus issue and that was it. Once she started treatment, she was down. Her immune system was down to 0. She couldn't see her family. If you had a sniffle or a cold, you couldn't be near her. And then the cancer spread to her brain while she was on this trial at Fox Chase. 2 years. My godmother, Arlene, suffered going to Fox Chase, believing in them. Come to find out, it was a blind trial. She was never getting the new experimental drugs. She never got the experiments that our brilliant American researchers are working on to cure lung cancer. She never got any of that. She was just getting the standard chemotherapy and radiation that she could have gotten in her own hometown, driving 10 minutes to Lancaster General Hospital for her chemo and radiation. And she suffered. Another friend of mine, bladder cancer, stage 4. Fox Chase, gonna save you. We're gonna remove your bladder. Yes, you're gonna have a catheter for the rest of your life. You're gonna piss in a bag for the rest of your life, but you will live. And then they told her, guess what? Good news, you're cancer-free. 1 year. 1 year after they told her she was cancer-free, cancer's back. Wonder what they're telling her now. It's ridiculous. You want to know something else? Supplements, holistic medicine, meditation, all kinds of experimental or not covered by insurance therapies, they actually work. Marijuana works. CBD oil works. You want to know that my cousin Nicole has stage 3 breast cancer. And she related this to me, and I lost my mind. So Nicole goes to her chemo treatment. She's having very serious chemo, strong chemo. She has to have 8 chemo treatments over the next 16 weeks. 8 chemo treatments. Every 2 weeks she goes in for chemo. She sits in the hospital 3 hours, poison going into her body to kill the cancer that is destroying her life. And then they give her a prescription. And it's a really important prescription. It is to take care of the adverse effects of that chemo that she just spent 3 hours getting. The nausea, the vomiting, the mouth sores. The nausea medicine, anti-nausea medication, and my godmother went through this as well. So she sits in the hospital room 3 hours, and she's tired. And she just wants to get her prescription filled as quickly and as close to her house as she can. And the closest pharmacy is the CVS. And the CVS says to her, after she was told by her insurance that this drug for the anti-nausea, so that she'll be able to have a decent meal and get some nutrition in her after 3 hours of having poison injected into her body, they say it's covered. She goes to the pharmacy, they say it's $360. Now, to add insult to injury, okay, this miracle anti-nausea drug, which back in the day, back 30 years ago, we didn't have. If you got chemo, you just threw up a lot. They didn't have this. They have this wonderful drug that gets rid of the nausea, and CVS is telling my cousin, the closest pharmacy to her home, so she can pick up her prescription and go home and get into bed and rest, $360. Now, here's what should piss you all off, and it pisses me off. The Walmart pharmacy, which is a further drive for her, like a 25, 30-minute drive. Guess how much they charge for the same damn drug? $26. How is this even possible? It's the same drug made by the same pharmaceutical company, and CVS is charging $360 and Walmart's charging $26. So what they're saying to adult cancer patients is, you can get your prescriptions cheaper. After you get out of the 3 hours of chemo, you can just drive another half hour out of your way and go to the cheaper pharmacy. And I want to know why health insurance is covering in vitro fucking fertilization, gastric bypass surgery, but doesn't cover at 100% anti-nausea medication for chemotherapy patients who are fighting for their very lives. I want to know how someone can go and make 4 babies or 6 babies or 8 babies and have insurance cover it. Some insurance does cover that, by the way. But they don't cover, because again, not being able to get pregnant, you're not going to die from that unless you're stupid enough to think that you have to commit suicide if you can't have a baby, because that's not the end of your life. The end of your life is when you have stage 3 fucking breast cancer and you've lived a beautiful life. You've done everything you were told to do. You've lived healthy. You've bought health insurance. You've paid into it. You and your husband both work hard. And now they're saying, well, we don't cover that. We're not going to cover supplements that could possibly save your life. Oh, that treatment's experimental. That's not covered. You have to pay out of pocket for that. And yet we actually brag to other countries who have national health care, by the way. If my cousin Nicole, you're going to watch this show. If you lived in England right now, you would not be worrying at all about how to pay for your treatment. You would get your treatment. And you and your husband would not be paying one dime for your prescriptions, for your chemo, for your surgeries, $26,000 to put a port in just to inject the chemo. $26,000. That's a fucking hell of a lot of money, isn't it? And it's wrong. Because just like we say no child should die from cancer, so we've got St. Jude's, nobody pays, no one gets a bill. We need a St. Jude's for adults, for the adult people in our lives whom we love. The adult people in our lives who are raising children and grandchildren and who want to live and survive cancer, just like all the celebrities can afford to do. We want what they have. We want their cancer treatments. And it's just not right. It's not right that insurance covers a vasectomy for a man and won't cover a tubal ligation for a woman. That women who get HR positive breast cancer, they get it because they're hormones. That's a hormone base. And I'm going to talk to my cousin Nicole when she appears on the show about this. But I believe that if women, when they're done having their kids, could have hysterectomies on demand and not take the hormone replacement therapy shit, because I never did that when I went through menopause. I didn't need it. But if hormones feed breast cancer, then we should allow women, and insurance should cover hysterectomies when you're done having your kids. Because there are certain cancers that are fed by estrogen and progesterone, which you stop producing when you go through menopause. So the earlier you go through menopause, in my opinion, and if I'm wrong, I'm sure I will hear about it, but to me, the earlier you go through menopause, the less likely chance you are to get this HR positive breast cancer, which is very serious and very hard to treat, and it's a lot of suffering to treat it. And I don't believe that people should suffer if they don't have to. We have all these wonderful prescription drugs, and yet the pharmaceutical companies keep boosting the prices of their drugs. Just this year, January 1st, we got a huge Happy New Year, fuck you from the pharmaceutical industry, just as President Trump is saying he's trying to lower the prices of pharmaceuticals. But they raised their prices. Try living with AIDS in this country and paying for your maintenance drugs to maintain AIDS so that you can live viral free. Sometimes it's $4,000 a month. My godmother needed a shot once a month. It cost $1,500 for one shot, and insurance didn't cover it. Medicare didn't cover it, so that Medicare for all is bullshit too. Because Medicare does not cover a lot of shit. So Bernie Sanders, fuck you. Not voting for you. Medicare for all ain't going to work. 20% of $1.2 million that it can cost to survive cancer is a lot of money. And most of us don't have that kind of money to pay out of pocket. Co-pays, deductibles, other co-pays, things that just aren't covered, not approved. It's ridiculous. And these pharmaceutical companies, shame on you, because I watched Michael Moore's Sicko. It's a great DVD. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If my cousin Nicole could go to Cuba right now and she needed that anti-nausea medication, you know how much it would cost her in Cuba? $2.50. My cousin Nicole, after she gets her chemo, she needs something called Neulasta, which helps boost her white blood cells so she doesn't get infections and her immune system gets boosted. For one dose of Neulasta, it's $4,500. And she will need 8 of those. You do the math. I'm not a math person. $4,500 times 8. I think that's like $50,000 just for the stuff you need to counteract the side effects from the chemo. That doesn't even include what the chemo costs, okay? So if any of you out there who have fought me for the past 25 years when I have been saying we need some form of national health care in America, the greatest, smartest, best country in the world, it is. And we do have the best researchers, and we do have good doctors, and we do have researchers. But the problem is they are making drugs that we can't afford to use, to benefit from. And therein lies the problem. And how are we going to fix it? You have to tell me. If I knew the answer, I would be running for president right now. I would be running for health czar in this country right now. But I will tell you what we need to stop. We need to stop health insurance companies taking our money when we're healthy and then refusing to pay out when we're sick. Because that's kind of their job, isn't it? We take your money now. When you need us, we'll be there for you. Oh my God, those commercials make me so sick. You're in good hands. We will take care of you. We care about you. No, you don't. You care about me when I'm healthy. You care about me when I'm writing you a check every month for my premiums. The second I file a claim with you, all of a sudden, you don't care so much. Denied. 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 Ooh, copay. Copay. Experimental, not covered. So look, I am looking to get, of course, based on her health, she is going through very extreme chemo. Nicole will be on my show. We're going to do a show together. And she will talk to you about her journey, this nightmare that she and her family are going through right now. And hopefully at the time that we do that show, we will give you all a way that you can help Nicole and her family out. Because unfortunately, in America, the greatest, richest country in the world, where celebrities survive stage 4 cancer and other people just don't because they can't afford the treatment that could save them. We can't afford miracles, most people. Miracles are expensive in America. We need help. We need help from generous people like all of you. 90% of all the GoFundMe accounts that are out there and all the donations are for medical bills. And isn't that sad? In the richest country in the world, we spend all this money on wars in foreign countries and places where we have no business, and trying to overthrow leaders and do what we want overseas. And we bring people, kids from Iran and people from Iraq over here for free surgery and free health care. And our own people are left to ask the generous people out there for help. And it's not for help to have a new baby because we already have 4 kids, but we really want another one. Not for that. It's not to, oh, I want to go to Europe, so help me go to Europe. My cousin Nicole is asking for your generosity in order to live. As many American citizens, adults, are asking for money to live. Because once you get that horrible diagnosis, the first thing you think of is, oh my God, I'm going to have to go through a lot of shit. I'm going to suffer. I'm going to be in pain. And then the next thing you think of is, oh my God, I can't afford this. How sad is it that any hardworking, employed people who have health insurance in America can't afford to live? Shame on all of us. I love you, Nikki. Political Paula, out.